Hello everyone, welcome to Trackside with Tom. My name is Tom Hogan. It is May 15th of 2024 and this is the 100th episode of Trackside with Tom. So thank you everyone for tuning in and sticking with us. This is, I think I went back and checked. This is about a year and a half, almost 2 years of Trackside with Tom that we've been doing this. And I've been really pleased with the response that I've gotten to this program. I love having this consistent viewership every Wednesday. And I really appreciate you guys continuing to come back and tune in and you know, just enjoy some rail fanning with us in the afternoons, on these Wednesday afternoons. So, for our 100th episode, we're going to do a fan choice today. Anyone that has timestamps that they want to throw into the chat for Steel Highway cameras, please make sure and include those. I've got some pretty neat highlight stuff that I want to share with everyone. And I definitely want to jump over here and start right out with the CP 2816, which, as we know, over the weekend, it ran south from Chicago to Davenport down to Kansas City, where it is now. And we will get right over to, this is from, let me just make sure I'm saying this correctly, Union Pacific Train Man. This guy's got 420 subscribers. He's got some great video from Chillicothe and Birmingham, Missouri. So make sure and check out this guy's channel. Give him a like and subscribe. And we're going to see a couple run-bys that he's got from the 2816 in Missouri. And this is the full consist rolling by. I do want to also, while we are doing this video roll by, I want to make sure and recognize everyone that came out in Davenport and said hi during the course of the CP event on Friday. I got to meet lots of new people, and I definitely appreciate everybody coming over to say hi. As we go along here, we've got Union Pacific Rail Fanner, hello. Daniel Swanson, hello. Rocky Run. Admission is free every single week. A-Train, Turf, Garen Henderson, Michael Richmond, Clay Train, Barry Anderson, Santa Fe Man, Stephen Kern. Yep, appreciate everybody tuning in with comments today. And here we see a little bit slower run by. And this was on the second leg of the Saturday tour from Atumwa, Kansas City. You can see kind of the late afternoon sun as he's going southbound here. Shadows starting to be cast across the ballast as the sun is setting down in the west. One thing that I did notice that I wanted to point out, I think is pretty neat. This car that is on screen right now, I haven't been able to do a bunch of research on it yet, but I'm pretty sure this Canadian Pacific car is actually a clear story car that has a second roof put on the top of it. And it's really, really unique looking from the outside. So definitely something to check out when you see that car again. Um, it looks different for a lot of reasons, right? It's not a full sheet metal car like these newer passenger coaches are. It's actually riveted metal on the outside, and then it has the external riveting on it instead of the internal like sheet metal welding that happens now. So definitely something to check out when you see it. And yes, as Michael Richmond pointed out, it's going to pass on the former KCS, it'll go by the Decatur, Arkansas webcam once it leaves Kansas City, continuing on its trip south. CP Ottumwa cam at 10:57. Let's check that out. Thank you, A-Train, for that timestamp, and we will jump right over here. And all right, there we go. So 10:57, and let's see what we've got by the Ottumwa camera at 10:57 this morning. We got to go back. And I think we're just about, there we go. All right, Jacob Wheeler, hello. John Welsh, hello. Mark Dowis. All right, so we have a southbound Canadian Pacific train. Pair of GEs up front. Ah, yes, and the re-lettered. So let's pause this. We've got, so this first one that went by, it's got the nice black block lettering, CP lettering on the side of it. Former UP 3727. And I believe this is going for repaint and rebuild at Albia. And then the second one, it almost looks like someone tried to spray paint over the Union Pacific, and then spray painted CP on the side. I mean, it almost looks like it was done by graffiti artists rather than a railroad. And it kind of harkens back to remembering like the bandit coloring that was used when they would paint over the Milwaukee Road on the side of their switch engines for the Sioux line. And then if we continue forward, we have more spray paint over here that has not been washed off. Oh, somebody even tried to spray paint over the wings on the front nose. That's interesting. But yes, these are UP engines that have been purchased by the CP that are going to be rebuilt and repainted. And then, yeah. All right, so then we continue with the rest of our train rolling by. We have some loads of plate steel here on the head end. That leader is in an open-ended flat car. And then these are bulkhead flats, and got some probably empty scrap gons here on the head end as well. So let's see what we've got for comments. Yes, CP Ottumwa Cam 1057. Thank you, A-Train. Appreciate that. Mark Dowis, hello. John Welsh, hello. 2816 next week on the former KCS. Pittsburgh sub. And then Heavener sub to Oklahoma. Yep, I thought. Yes, and I'm sure there will be people out there chasing. I know that there were a number of people that chased from North Dakota all the way down to Kansas City. And now they're having kind of a maintenance layover in Kansas City. They're doing some public events. For those of you who didn't see it, the CP actually released their newest new locomotive, or repainted locomotive with the new paint scheme, the new CPKC paint scheme. And that has been revealed. It came out of Mid-America Car, I believe, in Kansas City for the repaint. And then this is just part of their public tour that they're doing. And then I'm sure we're going to start seeing more locomotives getting repainted to that new paint scheme as time goes on. What else have we got here? Yes, Michael, thank you for the information for people chasing south towards Shreveport. Jacob Wheeler, hello. Tour next Shreveport next Tuesday, May 21st. That's right. Doing some track work soon. Yes, that's a reference to the stacks of ties that we see out here along the tracks. There's definitely some tie replacement being done. You can see stacks of ties actually on both sides of the track. And so that is something that we will probably be able to observe on camera as the crew works their way up the hill. Because the chances are they'll be tying up in this Ottumwa yard at the end of each day. So they'll probably go back and forth past the camera multiple times or multiple days. Let's see here. None have been set out for Albia so far. Right. And it's, well, you know, maybe they're going down to Mid-America Car just to get repainted too. That's certainly possible. Release their new paint scheme. Yes, that's right. Get the CPKC colors. M Helium, hello. Main Street Donuts. Ice cream in the area. Thank you. Yes. And that's a good point too. Thank you everyone for patronizing our host sites as the steam train was traveling south. You know, that's a big thing that I tell host sites when I talk to them, is that I don't just want myself to be successful. I want them to be successful as host sites because I want to continue to be able to have cameras there. And so hearing stories about people stopping in at Main Street Camera or Main Street Donuts, for instance, is a great example of, you know, going out there and really helping to support the host site, putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak, literally and figuratively. 2816 will be on display at Kansas City Union Station this Saturday. Yes. M Helium, yes. M Helium was one of the individuals that came up and said hi to me in Davenport as we were all kind of milling around at the steam train display on Davenport on Friday. And thank you to everyone who came up and introduced themselves. Shenandoah Local Red Oak Cam 1110. All right. That is something we have not yet seen either. So thank you, Barry Anderson. Appreciate that. We'll definitely go to that timestamp next. Yes, and hello, Daniel Swanson. KCS purchased some locomotives from BNSF, now owned by CPKC. Yes, we have seen some of those pumpkins with KCS lettering on the side of them. And I don't know exactly what the disposition of those is going to be now, because KCS started buying those before the CPKC merger. So is that something that's going to continue to exist once they move on, or is the CPKC really going to need all those locomotives? It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right. So now that we're caught up here, and I know that this guy, he's slowing down to stop. He ends up stopping on camera. But we're going to go ahead a little bit because I just want to show this DPU that is here. Yes, KCS 4074, which is our rear DPU on this train. And because it took another, I don't know, 5 minutes or something to get to this because he was slowing down, probably to line switches into the yard, that I just wanted to point that out and show off the rear DPU since we had it on screen. He is posing for us so nicely in front of the camera. And if you look closely, this is actually a KCS. Is this a KCS de Mexico unit? Yes, it is. KCS M 4074. So Just a little bit of trivia there for you on the end. But that's our rear locomotive that has passed or posed in front of the camera for us. And now we will switch over to Red Oak, and we will find the ever elusive, spotted, snowy, however many terms you want to use to apply to it. It's the Shenandoah Local. So the BNSF runs a local which we have a coal train here. We can check that out, certainly. The BNSF runs a local out of Creston to go and switch customers in Shenandoah, and occasionally you see Shenandoah grain trains that go down there as well. So this is just your standard loaded coal train. If we look at PPEX, if someone wants to look up those reporting marks, I'd be curious to know, where does PPEX, what's the ownership, where would that be headed for? I don't know that I'm familiar with those reporting marks specifically, but we have a loaded coal train heading east by the Red Oak Depot. This is at 11:38. And then while this guy is rolling by, we're going to back up to 11:07, and we will check out the Shenandoah Local. Oh, he's already... All right. So let's go back just a little bit further. Here we go. 11:06 and 36 seconds. So we've got the BNSF yard car over here, maybe. And you can see there's a conductor that's walked down here to guy on the ground over here to line the switch. So what he's doing, they're pulling down main 2, and then they're going to shove back through these crossovers. So here is BNSF 3171 and BNSF 165. And if I look at these, those could be GP50s maybe? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the heritage of those is, but if someone wants to look that up, oh hey, yeah, let's turn that on. Here we go. Sorry about the delay there. I was actually, we were looking at these BNSF Jeeps. We got the 165 and the 3171. So if anyone wants to look those up and see what the heritage on those are, I believe it's a couple of Jeep 50s, but I could be mistaken. I'm definitely not always 100% accurate in locomotive spotting. So, definitely interested to know the heritage of those two Jeeps, if we can have that, if someone wants to look it up. Let's see here. What have we got? We've got John Welsh. I went by there about a year ago. Not too bad, not for a donut. Garen Henderson email. Alaska Railroad got at least 2 Maces. That's interesting. All right. So we're watching the Shenandoah Local do his thing here. They are getting lined through the crossovers. So they pulled down on main 2. And now they're shoving back through these crossovers onto the lead that is the branch line to Shenandoah. And I don't know if are they gonna leave the company car here while they do their work? Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, Alan Hunt. Good to see you. M Salt Trains, hello. Munger at 9/12/50. All right. 165 should be ex Santa Fe. Interesting. All right. So let's see. So we're seeing him shove by, and then you're going to see the conductor line these two crossovers back once he's done shoving. And then the way that this takes off, there's a third track over this bridge, and then they'll kind of curve down and around away from the bridge to following the branch line down. Alan Hunt, we actually had a really good question for you earlier. There was a coal train. There was a coal train that we saw, a loaded coal train that went eastbound here by the Ottumwa camera, or excuse me, Red Oak camera, and I was trying to find the reporting works were PPEX, and I was curious, Alan Hunt, if you could tell us anything about the possible destination for those PPEX cars. So here is the local, and you can see they're pulling down. They've got the crossovers lined back for normal, and then they're going to pull down and head around the curve on the branch line to go switch some customers. One of the things I was kind of surprised by was I didn't realize how many customers there were that were still shipping in Red Oak. So as this guy is going to disappear, it looks like the guy on the ground is heading back for the yard car to drive off and head into town. But yes, thank you, Barry Anderson, for the catch on the Shenandoah local at Red Oak. So what else do we have for comments here? Yes, Wisconsin Public Service goes to Creston, Wisconsin. I don't think that's what these were, though. I don't think the BNSF has a contract for Wisconsin Public Service. CPKC locomotives are clean. Yep, that's 100% correct. Fresh out of the paint booth. Yeah, pair of Jeep 50s. One, and they were built. Oh, a Jeep 50 and a Jeep 60, excuse me. All right. So one built in 1981, one built in 1988. Both ex-ATSF, it looks like. Thank you, Nina ATCS, for the information there. Appreciate that. Yeah, PPEX, I think, were the reporting marks. So, all right, we have our run-by of the Ottumwa local now. Let's go back and just check this one more time. Oops. I was hoping to get one kind of right on screen here. There it is. PPEX. PPEX 2026 would be a car number. All right. Well, thank you, Barry Anderson, for pointing this out. We'll go over to Munger next. We'll go over to Munger next at 9:12 a.m. And see what we've got for a roll by there. And thank you, M Salt Trains, for pointing this out. (9:12 a.m.) And we go back a little bit too far here. All right. Here is Munger, Minnesota. And as we look for this timestamp, we will just, 8:41, we got to go a little bit further. Well, at 8:54, we find a container train, northbound container train. We can certainly check this out, see what she's got for some motive power on board. Nothing too, I mean, a pair of GEs, pair of CNGs and a loaded container train. If we look at this, we're going to see that this is an international shipping train. It's got 40 and 20 foot containers on it. Some of them are high cubes and some of them are the kind of the standard. Although, interestingly enough, an empty 3-pack in the middle of the train. That's a little bit out of character, I would say, but certainly not totally unheard of. Maybe not the best train handling decision that could be made, but you know, whatever. So what else have we got for comments here? Yes, Nina ATCS, Jeep 50 and a Jeep 60. And M337 last saw ex-BNSF SD40-2 black and white NS lettering. Conductors, all right, well, thank you, Ryan Winan. Definitely appreciate that. John Welsh, Plum Point Services Company. Interesting. So do we know where they're based out of? Do we know what the possible destination for this coal train could be based on that information? UP Veterans Unit at 1013 on the Wapaka cam. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you. Thank you, CNSD70 Ace, for that information. All right. A little too far back for us to reach back and find it, but I do appreciate the information nonetheless. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. I think we found... Oh, we've actually got a train on the overhead. Look at this. We've got an over-under coming up here. So we've got 4 CN... Oh, wow. Look at this. We've got all kinds... There's a Dash 8, that 2001. We got all kinds of interesting power on this train. This is at 913. So, nice over-under shot, and then we should probably go back and look and see what was the... I mean, it might not have been anything particularly interesting, but what was the power on the train crossing the overhead? It looks like that might have been a Tier 4 GE and then just a regular GE as well. So we've actually got 2 trains traveling in the same direction going by the Munger camera. This is actually fairly rare, but these trains are both headed railroad south or both headed toward Duluth, whatever you want to call it. To see that this manifest train, though, being pulled by the older EMD power, that's definitely a rare treat for sure. Central Iowa Rail Productions, BNSF power at West Liberty, 12:21 p.m. going westbound. Thank you very much for that. Yes, CN Veterans Unit. All right. So there's our southbounds continuing on their way. And what do we have here? Osceola, Arkansas. Interesting. All right. Plum Point Energy Station, operating power station of at least 720 megawatts in Osceola, Arkansas. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing the research on that, guys. This is the sort of stuff that I really find interesting. And Osceola, Arkansas, yeah, coal and or coke for Big River Steel. All right. So now that we've got this, we'll jump over to our next timestamp, which is going to be where'd that go? 1221 at West Liberty. So let's jump over to the West Liberty webcam. West Liberty Railcam. Looking for some BNSF power on the Iowa Interstate today. I believe that this is the leftovers from a CBCR type coal train that was run. That is my best guess anyway. All right, 1221. Here is our camera. And if we take a look at this, we should see our BNSF power rolling by. Oh, here we go. He's going the wrong direction, though. He's going west. And I believe that this is a Silvis to Cedar Rapids type train that's going across or past the webcam right here. Pretty short, just a cut of covered hoppers there. But pair of BNSF motors. I suppose it's possible they could have made their way out from Cedar Rapids to Silvis and back in the last however many hours. So that is certainly possible as well. Aha, yes. That's kind of what I expected. All right, so we've got this. We are going to jump over now to Neenah, Wisconsin, which actually has activity, it looks like, right at the moment that we can jump over and see. And sure enough, we have a CN 9515 rolling by the camera, wide cab Jeep doing some switching in the Neenah yard. Looks like he's pulling in a cut of cars. Probably just got done switching an industry down there on the south side of Neenah, and now he's pulling into the yard to put his train away. So while we're doing this, we do need to say thanks to, let's see here, where all have we jumped around to? We've been at Neenah, which is a private host here in Neenah, Wisconsin, so thank you for that. West Liberty is the West Liberty Historical Society. Appreciate their help in hosting that webcam location. And before that, we were in Munger. So thank you to the Munger Tavern and Grill for hosting. And then before that, we were in Red Oak. So the Red Oak World War II and Historical Society at the depot in Red Oak. And then I think right before that, well, what was the first place we went to? My mind is escaping me now. But it's all right. I'll come up with it later. Oh, it was the videos that we were showing for the other guys. Yeah. So definitely appreciate everyone, all of our host sites, and then Ottumwa. That was it. Ottumwa Main Street Donuts. So thank you to all of our host sites. And now we will jump over to Griffith, Indiana, because there should also be a train going by that location right now as well. And if we're able to skip this, I certainly will, and we'll get ourselves over to the Griffith, Indiana webcam. Here we go. All right. Ooh, and look at this. We have one of the very rare moves off of the off of the north leg of the Y here at Griffith, Indiana. Let's back up and take a look at this. What do we have? I believe this is going to be a transfer job, but you just don't see very many. Yeah. All right, so this is CN Power coming off of the CSX, getting back on home rails, and heading for Griffith Yard. You've got a 3088 and a 3187. And coming around this north leg of the Y here at Griffith, would definitely, and I'm just watching the tracker here. I've got the motion.steel-highway.com up, and I'm just jumping around based on where the motion is popping in. So, yeah, interesting move. Transfer job from CSX to CN, I believe, is what we're seeing here. Let's see here. Let's get caught up on our comments. Yes, CN Veterans Unit and Osceola, Arkansas. Coal or coke for Big River Steel. Yep. Working faster than I am. This looks like this one is going to Osceola, Arkansas. Yes, thank you again, Alan Hunt, for confirming that information. And thank you, Nina ATCS, for doing the research. XSISA 15, the BN Power came on at Silvis this morning when we got the train from the BN. So, that is definitely interesting. And I'm curious as to why it was only about 15 cars long. That the BN literally gave you 15 empty hoppers to take to Cedar Rapids, but all right. L50391. Yes, that would be the symbol for this CN train that is currently going by the camera. I believe we saw some Canadian grain board cylindrical hoppers. There are some green BN hoppers. Badly faded, but still can be made out. What else have we got? There's definitely some older, very, very faded grain hoppers going by here. CN boxcar, another BN grain hopper. Some very, shall we say, hastily done graffiti rolling by. But this is our CN local that the rest of the empty BN train, 85 cars or so, stayed behind in Silvis. All right. Rail enthusiast mobile Railcam. Love for some of those PPEX twin tubs for N scale. Yeah. Well, go talk to Aether and tell them what you want and see if they'll make it for you. Here's the, yeah, all kinds of BN grain hoppers. This is interesting. Not necessarily what I would have expected. There's a nice looking green BN logo there. All right. So we got the roll by here at Griffith, and now thank you to the Griffith Historical Society for hosting this webcam location. And then we will jump over to Ames. We actually had a roll by at Ames just a little bit ago. So we'll go check that out pretty quickly here. And pull that up. There we go. All right. And we're going to go back to 1157 and check out this roll by on the Ames webcam. Let's see here. Oh, 1144. No, it says 11. I'm pretty sure it said 11:57. But maybe it was a false alarm. Perhaps we do not have a train at 11. Oh, no, there it is. It was just a little bit, took a little bit longer for it to get there than I expected. All right. So, Ames, Skis Cole, definitely appreciate them as a host. We've got a westbound Union Pacific. Is this this looks like a UP system grain train. The UP CMO, those are all UP system reporting marks. And that one actually has CMO and GATX on it. That's interesting. CHTT, those are also Union Pacific reporting marks. I guess we have some private hoppers mixed in here too. There were some NOKLs. But this looks like a unit grain train going west to get reloaded. Those black ones with the yellow stripe, those are ex-KCS hoppers. So, let's see here. While we're rolling this guy by, let's just take a look at what we've got for comments. We've got, we like BN hoppers, yes. Could be coming from Cicero Yard to Kirk Yard. It could be, but then why would it be on that north leg of the connection? I don't know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe that is what it was doing. You know, like we pointed out many times, there's lots of different ways to make connections and get between different railroads on Chicago, so maybe that's the case. Beer car on the rear, yeah, good catch. Ron, hello. How many BNSF trains run on the Barstow sub? I do not know the answer to that. We have the webcam, obviously, in Savannah, but at Savannah, it's tough to tell what's going on the Barstow sub versus what's staying on the Aurora sub. Galesburg would be a better indication. If you see a train go by Savannah and then you see it go by Galesburg, or vice versa, then you would know that that train was, in fact, on the Barstow sub. Let's see here. GSN1PX out of Northfield, Minnesota. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you for that information, Alan Hunt. And, yeah, the connection is not the right way at Eola. Yes, and that's kind of what I was thinking, that I don't know that that direction would necessarily work. All right. Well, thank you to our hosts, Skis, Cole, and Ames. And now we're going to jump over to East Dubuque and see what we've got for a roll by there. I know that East Dubuque is always kind of a fan favorite. Lots and lots of activity here. So it's always an interesting place to check out. And here is our East Dubuque view. You've got headlights. You can just barely start to see them approaching the signal bridge down there in the distance. So our train is quickly approaching. Gates are coming down. 11:50 at Decatur if you want to see a TXUX coal empty with a Grey Ghost leader. Interesting. 12 BNSF trains on the Barstow since 0100 today. Well, thank you, Alan Hunt. Appreciate that information. Do engineers get paid for the amount of cars on the train or what he is pulling? Ha ha. You know, if they got pulled by the number of cars in the train, then I think PSR would probably not be a thing. So that's it's an interesting way of looking at things, but definitely not the case. They're just getting paid either by the start or an hourly rate of some sort. More international shipping containers here. Yang Ming, Triton, lots of 40-foot containers here. 15 trains on the Barstow in 24 hours on 5/14. All right, well, that sounds about right. And here we've got our going away shot. You can actually see there's some cars way down there on the transfer track between the CN and the BNSF. But yes, this is definitely an international shipping container train heading eastbound at East Dubuque. Thank you to our private host at East Dubuque for allowing us this fantastic webcam location. Always appreciate that. We got a mix of 40 and 20-foot trailers here, loaded onto the well cars, and passing eastbound in about 45 minutes to an hour. You should see this guy going by the Savannah webcam as well. So what else have we got here? We're all caught up on our comments. Yes, we are. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the 36 people that are tuned in today, checking this out. And I think for our next stop, we're going to go over to Mount Vernon because it looks like that just got set off as well. So let's go check and see what is going by Mount Vernon, Iowa. And if we take a look, I think that what we're going to see, not too far here. Here we go. All right, gates are down. Train is approaching here at Mount Vernon. And we have a single leader, UP 7207 it looks like, heading up the hill at Mount Vernon, cresting the hill at Mount Vernon as he crosses that Highway 1 crossing. And looks like an eastbound manifest that we're seeing here on Main 2. So, rather be in Barstow, California. Well, I do not blame you. That seems like probably a nicer place to be as well. So don't blame you a bit on that one. Let's just see here. We've got, yeah, this is basically just your standard manifest train. Probably looking for some rear DPUs. Seems like mid or rear DPUs on this particular train. Just based on what we're seeing here, it was a 1 unit on the lead. Got some auto racks, TTX auto racks in the middle here. So we're going to, yes, this might be the NPPR. You are correct. That is possible. So we're going to do a couple of programming notes here as we approach the end of the program. This is going to be the final Trackside with Tom for a couple of months. And right now, what I am aiming for is a return date of September 4th. So we're going to take a couple months off over the summer for Trackside with Tom, and that's primarily driven by the need for me to be home with kids over the summer. But yes, thank you for the congratulations. This is episode number 100, and we are going to take 3 months off, June, July, and August, and then we'll be back in September with all kinds of new and exciting stuff. We should have some more webcams installed over the summer. And, I'm going to miss talking to you guys every Wednesday, but I definitely look forward to being back on the air when the time comes. The other thing that I want to talk about is the CP2816, because that is going to be, there's going to be a return trip as that guy comes back the middle to end of June. And I'm gonna start this out. There's our mid DPU going by. I'm gonna start this out by saying I know that there have been schedules that have been leaked for what the steam engine is supposed to be, when the steam engine is supposed to be running back north. Just understand that those schedules, all they reflect is the CP's best idea of what the plan is going to be right now, that it could totally change in a couple of weeks. You know, you look at this southbound trip, they had a derailment. The CP had a derailment south of Ottumwa just a day or two before the steam engine was scheduled to run south from Ottumwa to Kansas City. And that could have significantly impacted the schedule heading south. The same thing could very well be true on the northbound side as well. Any number of factors could affect the schedule as the CP is running their steam engine back north. And yes, you bring up June 30 in Winnipeg. That is the goal. I do know that they're planning on running north earlier than that to be in position for June 30. And there is scheduled maintenance that's going to go on during that time as well. So just be aware of the fact that just because people are trying to act like that they know everything that's going to happen because they have a schedule and they can share it with you today, believe it when you see it. Pay attention to the Facebook groups, pay attention to the webcams, and see the train, see that train somewhere on the northbound side as it's going back through Missouri, eastern Iowa, Minnesota. One thing that I do think that the schedules point out that is worthwhile is that we are looking at the train running all the way up the Davenport and Marquette subs in Iowa. And it does appear that that's probably going to happen, partly because it's a significantly shorter route than going all the way to Bensonville and then up through Milwaukee and back to La Crosse. And there's our rear DPU. So yes, one by one. So you can definitely look for that to go north. Hopefully he does. I think that trip along the Marquette sub is just beautiful territory. And I really hope that everyone has some photo opportunities to chase the steam engine along the Mississippi River Valley as it continues north on the Marquette sub this time. So anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you everyone for tuning in. But I definitely appreciate everyone. We had about 40 people online here today, so thank you everyone for tuning in. And we will definitely talk to you again in September. We're aiming for a September 4th return date right now. And of course, there will be announcements that'll come up to tell everybody when that's getting close. So thank you everyone. Appreciate the support. Check out the CP steam engine when it runs back north. It's going to be sometime in the second half of June. And just pay attention to see when it starts running so you know what to look for. Otherwise, everyone have a fantastic summer. And I look forward to talking with everyone again in a couple of months. Appreciate the support.